Well, hi there, folks. Welcome to the program. This, of course, is Stinchfield, the podcast. I hope everybody had a great weekend. I'm going to tell you right now, the only reason these deranged leftists are taking to the streets is to riot. They don't care about these illegal aliens. And there is a story that is brewing in my mind that really tells the whole story. And that is that ICE agents have backup on the way. The number of new recruits coming into Department of Homeland Security for ICE and Border Patrol is through the roof. The number of applicants, pushing hundreds of thousands of applicants now trying to sign up for ICE and Border Patrol, tells me that Americans want to take their country back. And so we're going to hear, then we're going to get into what's going on in Congress. Stars are coming out. Stars, when I say stars, I mean Hollywood entertainers, the elites, the slap yourself on the back crowd. They're coming out to defend these goons that are taking the streets. We'll go through that as well today on the program. But before we do that, let me tell you about my friends over at the Wellness Company. TWC.health/grant is where I want you to go. Right now, you can get 10% off one of these prescription medication kits. There's ivermectin in here. TWC.health/grant. Use the promo code GRANT for 10% off. You've got the Spike Detox. This is a must if you took the vaccine or if you had COVID. Get the spike protein out of your system. TWC.health/grant. And lastly, I'll tell you about TheraBlue. If you have pain anywhere, joints, muscles, this is a daily rub-on peptide-based gel that penetrates deep into the joints. I had hip issues. This has helped tremendously with the hip issues. So with that, TWC.health/grant. Use that promo code GRANT for 10% off. Let's get the show started.
Uncensored and unapologetic. This is Stinchfield. Here's your host, Grant Stinchfield.
All right, I know I got a biased crowd here, but if you had to choose who you wanted to be in a foxhole with, would it be an ICE agent or a Border Patrol agent, or would it be a loony goon that is taken to the streets of Portland or Minneapolis or Los Angeles? I'm going to take the ICE agent every day. ICE agent, Border Patrol, I put them all into one. Department of Homeland Security, just about any federal agent I'll take. Especially even now the new and improved FBI. Even though I'm sure we still got some rogue FBI agents left in that agency. But you get my point. My point to this is that when it comes to American values, I'm going to take the person who puts a badge on, a flag on his shoulder, takes to the streets under great threat of personal harm, even death, to fight for America, rather than the idiots out there that are causing all kinds of problems and chaos. Now, what restores my faith in humanity, restoring my faith in America, is that we have a record number of individuals signing up to become ICE agents. This was over the weekend on Fox News. Kristi Noem, Secretary of Department of Homeland Security.
People at the Department of Homeland Security and law enforcement are so excited they get to do their jobs. They're so proud to work for a president that is strong, that is decisive, and that wants to make America safe and enforce our laws again. So they're doing great. In fact, Rachel, just at ICE, we had over 220,000 applications for 10,000 openings. At USCIS, we've had tens of thousands of applications. Secret Service applications have more than doubled. We've got people in every department that are asking to come and work for the Department of Homeland Security because they recognize that we want to defend the homeland, that a country with no borders is no country at all, that people who live here and our citizens deserve safety on their streets, and that we deliver a response of protection of our critical infrastructure and relief to states when they face disasters through FEMA as well. It's a vast department with a lot of responsibilities, 23 different agencies, all tasked with keeping people safe, and that's exactly what President Trump is doing.
Yeah, and it's exactly what the loony goons on the streets are not doing. And yes, the people of America do deserve safety. And in fact, I would argue that the liberals in these leftist cities deserve safety. And I think the large majority of the people in Portland want safety. The large majority of the people in Minneapolis want safety. But the people who have taken to the ground do not. I want you to look at what some of these ICE agents are going through. This is in Los Angeles over the weekend. And I think even what is happening here is frightening the CNN reporter. These people in positions of power, and I'm going to say a CNN reporter, a CNN anchor, lawmakers, elected leaders, the radical left's head of the spear, the tip of the spear, the media, elected leaders. They know it's wrong. They know in their soul it's wrong, but they don't care because what they want is the chaos. But I think this even scared this woman.
You can see an officer back there. He's alone, and they're just throwing things at him. I mean, it's just pretty incredible that these protesters have overtaken this, and there's no police. I don't see anybody here to kind of manage this crowd. So like I was saying, this is at the tail end of a very long day.
Who thinks this is appropriate? Where are the freaking cops? This is Los Angeles. Los Angeles at one point in time had one of the greatest police departments in the country. They kicked ass and took names. They didn't let any bullcorn slide, man. Now, it's a shell of itself. Leadership at City Hall and even inside the police department, top brass, have let the leftists, the radicals, take over their city. This is insanity that there are no cops. Someone does a superfly snooker into the door, as you just saw at the end there where the ICE agent is, and there's no cops to arrest anybody.
Looks like they're cheering because they were able to push that officer back inside. Okay, and now people, okay, all right, hold on. Do you see the police?
I mean, you see what world we live in now. Now, President Trump is basically, I don't know if you call it a retreat. I don't think it's a retreat. But I think he's getting to the end of his rope, and he says, you know what? You left the cities. You're on your own. You want mass chaos? You can have mass chaos. We're going to defend our federal buildings. Beyond that, you're on your own. I don't know which is the right way to go on this. Part of me says you ought to double down in these cities. Just double down, flood the zone in L.A. and Minneapolis and Portland and screw these animals. And I would bring in tactical teams and arrest every one of these rioters. I would. Every single one of them needs to be arrested. I mean, when you look at what they're doing, this is an ICE agent. Now, this is in Minneapolis. This is an ICE agent who was surrounded, trying to get a soda at a convenience store. He doesn't look too concerned. But again, where are the police in Minneapolis? Look, and the stupid whistles, right? The whistles are ridiculous here. And this ICE agent is forced to go get his hat. Now, I'd be very careful. I would have left the hat. I don't trust any of these people. That's crazy right there. And what are the whistles supposed to do? Other than just annoy everybody living nearby. It shows you they're mentally ill. It really does. The whistle thing is just silly. And then he drives off. They say let him go if you listen carefully.
Let him out.
Yeah, I guess they're telling him to get out of here, so you might as well let him go. That's intimidating behavior. That's threatening behavior. If I had it in my purview, every single one of those people would be arrested. Every single one of them. But that's not going to happen in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It's just not. And so these ICE agents are put in danger because of that. Hey, folks, let me tell you about my friends over at Patriot Mobile. PatriotMobile.com/Grant is where I want you to go. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. They believe in the things we do. Now, I shouldn't even tell you, but Patriot Mobile has organized a strategy session for 100 top leaders in Texas. That's going to go down on Thursday. I'm invited. It's at a secret location. They're afraid of the loony goons showing up to a meeting like this. But this is to strategize, to make sure we keep Texas. That's what Patriot Mobile is all about. You know that a portion of your cell phone bill will go towards funding programs like that, designed to take back America. PatriotMobile.com/Grant, 972-PATRIOT. Use the promo code GRANT for a free month's service. You get to choose what network you'll be on. Performance guarantee like none other. Keep your phone. Upgrade. 100% U.S.-based customer service. You are going to love Patriot Mobile. PatriotMobile.com/Grant. 972-PATRIOT. Make the switch today and tell them that I sent you for that free first months of service. All right. So these people are crazy. They now want to play the role of, it's not law enforcement. It's like something out of The Walking Dead where all hell is broken loose. There's no law and order. They take to the streets. They try to pretend to be law enforcement. Watch this go down. Now,
I know.
Let me pause it here, okay, and tell you exactly what's going on. This guy, what you're about to hear, is going to tell this guy in the U-Haul van he can't go a certain direction. Now, the guy in the yellow vest is not law enforcement. He's a radical leftist that has hijacked the streets of Minneapolis. He's going to tell him you can't go someplace. Now, where are the cops to intervene and say, no, people in Minneapolis are free to move about the city wherever they want to go. You don't own the streets, clown. But that's not what happens here. Listen.
I know, and it's nothing to do with your work or you personally. It's just a safety issue. We don't let cars through once we have a big crowd like this. I'm sorry about the inconvenience.
Stand right there and let me go that way. I'm not trying to go that way. I'm going that way.
You can go that way on 32. Is it in between here you gotta go?
The house I'm going to is right past this block.
And that's that block.
Why am I about to go all the way around? I'm not going towards them if y'all stand where I can't go that way.
It's a safety issue, he says. You don't get to decide that, bro. Again, where are the freaking police? Look at the crowds on the street. Look at them. They're everywhere. And no police to be found.
I'm going that way.
You want to turn left
listen.
or right
I'm trying to turn right.
Let's let him.
All right. I'll get behind the truck so no one else tries.
I'm not about to go.
These people think they're playing a video game. I'm telling you, I think they think it's like war games. They don't think it's real. They're playing pretend.
Tired of
but yet,
the act
there's
of
nothing
blocking the
pretend
streets
about
here
it.
in Minneapolis.
They're grown
It's
adults.
not going to be ending anytime soon. Meanwhile, you have this fella still stuck, patiently waiting.
I wouldn't. I'd go. Now, you can't run people over because they'll charge you. Man, oh man, Shevitz. Right? I mean, how crazy is that? So that's what the people in these cities are up against. The police have lost control. How is it a country like America where police have no say anymore in these cities? Look, Dallas is a blue city. Make no mistake about it. It's a very blue city, but I promise you, Dallas police don't put up with this. There's still a vestige of Texas law and order, even among some Democrats in Texas, not the Jasmine Crockett's, not the ding-dongs of the world, but at least some vestige of law and order here, that a city like Dallas will not descend into utter chaos The police will not allow that to happen yet. But that is only for a short period of time because they are gunning for this city. There's no doubt about it in my mind. Now, you want proof that these are organized. Proof that the rioters are not acting on their own. It is not grassroots. There are other organizations that are paying for this, including the idea that China is paying for some of this as well. And I do believe they are sowing chaos in America. Watch this report.
If you've ever wondered how protests happen on the spot, this is exactly how. Without organizers, without the music, without the bullhorns, without all of these people coming together. And right now what they're doing is they're loading their trucks to leave out of here after they finish with the protest. None of the protests that you see that happen immediately after something happens, which is all the time now, wouldn't be possible. What's behind me is a combination of Party for Socialism and Liberation. We have Democrat Socialists of America here as well, and a couple very loose communist organizations like Revolutionary Communists for America. None of the protests that you see are organic. They're well organized, and because they're well organized, that means they're well funded through various campaigns, whether it's foreign influence campaigns or it could be even Democrat campaigns. So this is how it all happened.
And he's not the only one reporting that. We see this over and over again. You see the same signs in different cities that are hundreds of miles apart. Because the organization behind this, the groups behind this, want one goal and one goal only. That's to make President Trump look bad, to sow chaos in America. Yes, they want illegal aliens to be flooding the streets of America, but not because they somehow feel bad for the illegal aliens and want to give them a better life in America. It's about overloading census data so they can pad their numbers in Democrat states to make sure that they keep members of Congress in those Democrat states, giving them a leg up on things. It is about making sure that elections are stolen. They know that many of these illegal aliens are just getting driver's licenses in places like California, making sure that they keep a firm grip on these blue states. It's about undermining freedom in America. That's what it is. They don't care about these people. I promise you they don't. Now, I want to give you a little taste of what they firmly believe. You know, the woman that was behind the church raid, right? I mean, the one that Don Lemon got arrested for, let out, no bond, free to roam about the country. That's fine. I don't think he's going anywhere. But this is the woman who organized it. The media will eat this up. Everything's about race. Everything. See, they can't win the argument. I mean, I know I tell you this every day, and it probably gets old to hear. But because they can't win the argument, they bring up the race, the slavery, and all of this nonsense. But I want you to hear it in play while the media is listening to this, nodding their head in agreement.
We had belly chains around our waists, and we had handcuffs with bars in the middle. As someone who majored in African American studies, I can tell you that that is the closest I ever felt to slavery in my life.
She was arrested for storming a church. She said she had belly chains. Be interested, unless she was at the county lockup and they're loading her on a truck to take her to court. She may have had belly chains. Leg irons, maybe. If you're in jail, that's all possible. And I promise you that if there was a white inmate, they're getting the exact same treatment. So that's not slavery. That's not racism. And I promise you, any white dude that stormed the church would have been arrested too. But she wants to bring it up that it's somehow slavery, that President Trump is the slave master behind all of this.
Being shackled as if I was a slave. It is unacceptable and unconscionable, but it's on brand for.
You've never been a slave. You don't know anybody who's ever been a slave. There's nobody in that room that ever owned slaves. There's nobody in that room that has ever sold slaves. President Trump has been nowhere near a slave. So what is she talking about? This is designed, again, to just swat the bee's nest of the blind liberal zombies who hear these things and get so fired up that white guilt must be very, very, very real. White guilt it is here. This was the church pastor, by the way, right? So as we're talking about Don Lemon, and I told you, I've had mixed emotions about Don Lemon actually being charged with all this. I think it's a fine line. If he engaged in the cover-up, and we talked about this on Thursday, if he engaged in the planning of this and carrying it out and orchestrating it and enabling it, then he deserves to be arrested. It's a fine line you walk, though. But I'm going to play a little bit of his interview with the pastor because this tells you all you need to know about where Don Lemon stood in all of this. Now, does this make it illegal because he gives a combative interview? No, it only sets the stage that he was on the side of the church stormers. He was certainly on their side.
What do you think of this? I mean, this is unacceptable. It's shameful. It's shameful to interrupt a public gathering of Christians in worship. So, but there were folks who will say, I have to take care of my...
Now, notice, folks, there is a TV microphone in there. They didn't arrest the TV crews for going in there. There was no evidence that the TV crews had any knowledge of this was about to happen, other than the fact that they got there. And getting a tip that something was going to happen doesn't mean you were engaged in the planning of it. So to me, because they didn't arrest the mainstream media, they arrested Don Lemon. They had evidence that Don Lemon took part in the planning of all of this. You can see that TV microphone, the mic flag there.
Okay, but listen, we live in there's a constitution and the First Amendment to freedom of speech and freedom to assemble and protest. We're here to worship. We're here to worship Jesus because that's the hope of these cities. That's the hope of the world is Jesus Christ. I want to be very respectful. Please don't push me, though. We're here to worship Jesus. Yes. That's why we're here. Yes. Okay, that's why we're here. Okay. That's what we're about. Don't you think Jesus would be understanding we're about and love these folks? We're about spreading the love of Jesus. But did you try to talk to them as a Christian? No one is willing to talk. Okay. I have to take care of my church and my family, so I asked that you actually would also leave this building. You don't want us to chronicle what happened? Unless you're here to worship. I'm always worship. I'm a Christian. We're here to worship. Yeah. We're here to worship. Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
So, there you have it in my mind. Don't you think these people, we should feel sorry for them? Nobody wanted to talk there. They felt threatened. There was a little boy crying in the corner. Crying. Now, you tell me you think that a little boy crying in the corner is not feeling threatened by this mass, by this mob? You better believe they were feeling threatened. So all of this has to do with the congressional shutdown. Yeah, Skunk71 said he's a Christian. I agree, Skunk. He goes against everything Christianity stands for. Don Lemon we're talking about. I mean everything, right? The guy lies. I mean, that's like first on the list. Not to mention his personal behavior and his, well, one thing he lies about is that he's so persecuted against by the white man, yet he's married to a white man. Okay. So he lies. He engages in this kind of behavior. He's deceitful. All of this leftist behavior is not Christian in any way, shape, or form. So a lot of this has to do with the government shutdown. They're using this to wage war on the American people by keeping the government shut down. We are in a partial government shutdown right now as we try to figure out how to unfold all this stuff. This is Senator Rick Scott. Listen to him talk about it.
Says enough is enough. Right? One, we're tired of earmarks, we're tired of wasteful spending, and we want to make sure ICE is fully funded so we can secure this country. And who wants these criminals in our country? Like, who in their right mind wants a criminal that might rape their daughter or their granddaughter in this country?
Oh, you know who wants somebody like that in this country? Don Lemon wants somebody like that in this country. That's who. It's clear to me They want to inflict the most amount of pain on the American people as possible.
They don't. Why are the Democrats doing this? Why do they want to shut down ICE?
I thought the public made its voice very clear, a year and a half ago when they went to the ballot box. But here we are, I guess, 6 months later, and you're telling me that's the only... I don't know. Government can't be shut down for 6 months until the next election, so there's going to have to be some other form of leverage, some other mechanism or lever to pull in order to keep our government funded beyond completely capitulating.
Yeah. You want to know how you do it? You throw out the 60-vote minimum in the United States Senate. Get rid of the filibuster. Done. The Democrats are going to throw it out, man. We know they will. Chuck Schumer is not going to be in control of the Democrats next time around, if God forbid the Democrats take the Senate. And I'll tell you, there's some indications that Democrats are gaining steam. I am very sad to report. A friend of mine, Lee Wamsgans, who is running for state Senate in Texas in a plus 17 for Trump district, lost a special election on Saturday to a Democrat. Lost. Now, there's going to be another election, I believe, in like 6 months, because this was for the special election. Then there'll be, I believe she'll run again for the full seat. This was to take over the current seat. Either way, it's massive craziness that they won this seat in Texas in a plus 17 district. That scares me. Now, I didn't even know it was election day on Saturday. That's a real problem. I live in Dallas. I do this for a living. I didn't know it was election. Now, it's not my district, so I couldn't have voted. There was no election in my district where I live. But I didn't know about it, which then tells me there's a real problem. They probably turned out the vote a lot better than we did. But it is still frightening and should be a warning. God forbid they do take over. Now, what do they want with all of these ICE agents? All of these illegal aliens. You want to hear Chuck Schumer quietly spell it out?
Short of workers, we have a population that is not reproducing it on its own with the same level that it used to. The only way we're going to have a great future in America is if we welcome and embrace immigrants, the dreamers, and all of them, because our ultimate goal is to help the dreamers, but get a path to citizenship for all 11 million or however many undocumented there are here.
So first, I thought it was only 3 million, but now he admits that it's 11 million. I think the number is a lot higher than that. The dreamers and the undocumented workers, we want a pathway to citizenship for all of them. The only way we improve America. What he's telling you is we need to get them status so they can vote. So this idea against pushing back against ICE, we now have a whole slew of reasons they're doing it. It's to cause chaos on the streets of America. It's to try to keep the idea of open borders ongoing. It's to try to get President Trump to back off his deportation plans to keep these illegals here so they can ultimately vote. And again, it's to sow dissension amongst Americans. And that really is not where we want to be. Okay? At all. Speaker Mike Johnson.
I am very bullish on the midterms. I'm convinced, Shannon, that we're going to win. We have an extraordinary record to run on. We're raising more money than Democrats right now. I personally raised $82 million as an all-time record for a speaker last year.
All right, so I hope he's right. $82 million raised is great. Folks, if you can, donate money to Republican candidates you trust. I like giving money directly to the candidates. But it's imperative that you offer up cash for Republicans. That's how we win. But again, is it a sign that we lost this seat in Texas on Saturday? That's crazy. So I'm glad that he's optimistic. When I look at everything as a reasonable human being and I look at the craziness and I say, America can't support this. These have to be the left of the left. The most radical of the most radical. Most Americans, most Democrats can't support this. We should steamroll them in the midterms. America's on track. The stock market's rolling. Gas prices are down. Inflation is all but non-existent now. Eggs are back to a price where they're supposed to be. What more do people want? You think we'd be easy sailing? I'm not so sure.
And when you combine that with the Congressional Leadership Fund, which is the Speaker's endorsed super PAC, there is $218 million. The NRCC has better numbers. The RNC has better numbers. We're going to have a war chest to run on and a great record and extraordinary candidates to put out there on the field. We've got the tailwinds, and I think we're going to defy history and do this and grow our majority. I need a margin larger than one, Shannon.
A margin larger than one would be really nice. That man has virtually an impossible job. I give him a lot of crap, because he doesn't do things quite the way I would want him to do it, but he's got basically an impossible job to keep everybody happy, keep the majority. I wish, in some respects, on important issues, Republicans could come together and just vote lockstep how President Trump wants you to vote. Just listen to President Trump, follow Trump's lead, even if it's not exactly what you want. I think unless something was totally out of bounds and crazy, that's what I would do if I was a member of Congress. I would raise my concerns, but ultimately if President Trump wanted it, he's our leader. He's been right before. He's gotten us down the road. Just give him what he wants, and we'll figure it out. Better than giving the Democrats what they want, right? I mean, way more. Way better than giving the Democrats what they want. Let me tell you about my friends over at Energized Health. This is about getting in shape like you've never gotten in shape before, baby. I lost 15 pounds in 2 weeks on the Energized Health protocol. 15 pounds in 2 weeks, and it was like easy. So simple. Changed a few things around. This is what getting hydrated at a cellular level can do for you. A lot of places are now trying to copy this. But he's got a patent on the science behind Energized Health. John Jubilee is who I'm talking about. You got to get with them. EnergizedHealth.com. That's EnergizedHealth.com. Cellular hydration. Watch the masterclass there. It's great. It'll tell you exactly what you need to know, and then book a call. And the call will fill your brain with knowledge. It's great. So book a call with Energized Health, EnergizedHealth.com, and do what I did. Take your life back. Mental focus, body fat reduced, muscle mass increased, blood pressure down, testosterone levels up. You name it, every level goes in the right direction. EnergizedHealth.com. That's EnergizedHealth.com. All right. So let's keep moving forward. And I want to play for you some of the fraud that is being uncovered. And then I have the stars that are coming out in defense of these loony goons that have taken to the street. So let me first play for you some of the fraud that my buddy Benny Johnson has uncovered in California. We may talk about this on the Real America's Voice show tonight. Listen.
The billions of dollars spent in this state, $24 billion spent on homelessness. It's $170,000 per homeless person spent in this state. Look at that. That's a guy's house right there. You live right there. You're moving because you can't take all the homeless?
Yeah.
Your children live here?
Yeah, it's not part for the street.
Oh, of course not. It's not safe. Look at that barbed wire. You're living in a war zone. This is all about trafficking in human misery. Look at this. So that's what we are going to be investigating.
California has poured $31 billion of state and federal tax dollars into fighting homelessness over the past few years. That adds up to $170,000 per homeless person. For perspective, that's more than the median price of a home in West Virginia. That's more than the total GDP of 91 different countries. So what's the result of this astronomical spending?
I can tell you what the result is. More homelessness. What happens is California spends money on homelessness, and they do it in a way that they give money to the homeless people. And so what does that mean? That just brings in more homeless people to the state. It's like a bird call to homeless people. They flock to California because they're going to get handouts. They'll get taken care of. $170,000 per person. Does that make any sense to you? I mean, you could have just given $170,000 to each homeless person. They still wouldn't have been able to get a job. What you need to do is cut them off, and then they'll leave. They may go someplace else. They may spread out, but it's another city's problem to deal with. You have to want to be homeless in America today. I hate to break the news to you. You have to want it. There is so much help for homeless people, from private enterprise to government entities. If you want help, if you're on the streets, you can get help. But the problem is you got to make some changes. You may have to go to a shelter that has a curfew. You may have to go to a shelter that requires you go to church. You may have to show up for meetings. You can't show up drunk or on drugs. All of these requirements means that they don't want to go to the shelters. They'd rather hook a camper up to a light pole in Los Angeles and live there. They continued here.
Interview with Sheriff Bianco, we had a whistleblower reach out with bombshell evidence from the top levels of a homeless industrial complex nonprofit located in California. We confirmed their identity and confirmed their information, and what they told us was shocking. They told us that the homeless industrial complex isn't there to help out homeless people at all. We're missing the whole point. Here it is.
I just want to say thank you for this tip. So you believe or you know that the homeless shelters are being used by illegal aliens? What percentage?
50%, 60%. Do they ask for any type of documentation or proof when you go in there?
They only ask for, like, if they have a passport or an ID.
You say that the shelters for the homeless are being used by up to 60% illegal aliens, and that they're able to just stay there and live for free and get everything that they need.
Yeah, they stay for like a year and a half, stuff like that. Sometimes it's like an entire family. It's gonna sound crazy. One of the shelters, this Russian family, they're driving a brand new BMW.
This is unbelievable. You see other luxury items like cell phones and stuff?
Oh yeah, everybody has new stuff. They're dressed well. If you see any of these people on the streets, you can't tell they're homeless at all. At all.
Unbelievable.
This other family, they came from Florida, because of course, you know, things are getting harder over there for illegal immigrants in Florida. So they say, oh, come to California because everything is free. They'll give you anything. So just come down over here.
You said if they have a criminal history, it doesn't matter?
Well, of course, you'll get them, yeah.
Wow. So do you not let the police in?
After the whole ICE thing all over the place, they placed signs everywhere that private property, they close the gates, they lock everything down.
What these are like extrajudicial embassies for criminal aliens, illegal and then potentially criminal, where they get to live for free on the taxpayer dollars and be protected from federal agents and police.
Basically.
Wow. You just blew the lid off everything. That's unbelievable.
So they're rallying protesters to come and surround us. We are not going to get help from LAPD. This is the reality of Los Angeles.
So that was Chad Bianco, who's running for governor, talking to Benny Johnson there, talking about their rallying protesters. We're not going to get help from LAPD. I mean, they're not going to come to the rescue. You have innocent people literally trying to expose government waste and fraud and abuse, and the police are not going to help you, which means they're enabling the goons that are street rioters. They're enabling them. Now, as for the homeless fraud that Benny had uncovered, honestly, it's not really shocking or uncovering anything new. Jen Horn, my co-host out on AM 870, where I used to do radio, we had talked about this for years. I mean, we were on to this, known about this. Same thing with the shelters. We know the shelters house illegal aliens. This is why the federal government and the Democrats that are working to change law want to exclude churches from places where ICE can go and investigate. Why? Because many of the homeless shelters are owned by churches and religious entities. So if you make those statutorily off limits, you basically give them a safe haven to go. They can just hide out there. It is like having a foreign embassy in the middle of a city. And that's what they want to turn every church into. So Thank you, Benny Johnson, for uncovering that. Pretty interesting to say the least. Now, back to Minnesota. So the gentleman who was with Nick Shirley went on Fox News to expose more fraud in Minnesota.
Whistleblower David Hoke joins me now. Now, this testimony, David, that's coming, it is not next Wednesday. It is March 4th, also a Wednesday. What do you want Keith Ellison and Jacob Fry to be asked about what you've reported?
Well, so actually my testimony is next Wednesday, February 4th, and then I think Ellison and Walls, and I was key in getting them subpoenaed to testify. And, you know, I keep hearing about these money wires and Al-Shabaab and suitcases full of cash, and it's really quite maddening for me because, to me, the solution is very simple. The federal government has to go to the Minnesota Department of Human Services and any of the other social service agencies anywhere in the country and say, look, if you're issuing payments using federal dollars in all or part, and it's going to a fraudulent business, you run the risk of federal prosecution. We're going to come in there, we're going to arrest you, we're going to handcuff you, we're going to drag you out, and we're going to bring you in front of the judge, and you're going to prison.
Yeah. Next week, so that's news, that your testimony next week, next Wednesday, we'll be watching that. I will certainly be closely. Will we learn anything new, or is this an opportunity to bring forth all of these revelations that you and Nick have gathered in these really viral videos?
Well, there will be a couple of things that will be new that I'll present to the committee, and I'm looking forward with great anticipation to the committee because Senator Klobuchar is on that committee, and she's now announced that she's running for governor. And what's going to be funny is I have a legal question for the committee that nobody's going to be able to answer.
Wow.
And so I think my testimony.
So that'll be interesting to hear him unload his legal questions, and Senator Klobuchar is running for governor in Minneapolis to be there and be put on alert. So again, you've got the fraud that then sparked the immigration and deportation push in Minneapolis. But this immigration push has been going on across the country for a long time. I just got this email from my friends over at the White House that are in messaging. And this tells you one of the stories of why deporting these illegal aliens work. Besides the idea of crime going down, you know what has hit a 4-year low now? Rents. The rental market now is continuing to tumble. That is making it more affordable for families to live as the cost of housing falls in America. I'm looking at headlines here. Denver, Pittsburgh, Arizona, and CNBC. Okay, this is the email on my phone. Denver rent is at its most affordable in at least 9 years, according to Zillow. In Pittsburgh Post-Gazette survey, Pittsburgh apartment rental prices dropped in 2025. ABC 15 in Arizona. New report shows rental prices drop in Phoenix across most U.S. markets as well. And CNBC, apartment rents just dropped to the lowest level in 4 years. Amazing. I mean, the headlines go on here. I've got it. Boston, Las Vegas. Boston, WBZ. Report finds rent is getting cheaper in some Massachusetts communities. Las Vegas Review, rents, gasoline, prices fall in the Vegas area. Dayton renters gain ground as single-family rents decline. Erie, Pennsylvania, Erie apartments for rent saw price decreases since last December. Los Angeles, finally a renter's market. LA rent prices drop. I can keep going on. Chattanooga, Boise, Nashville, Tennessee. Nashville rent prices on the decline. South Carolina, rents in South Carolina are almost back to where they were. Wichita Times, Wichita Falls. Apartments for rent saw price decreases since last December. This goes on and on. Santa Fe, Dallas, you name it. That's real money in Americans' pockets. That's President Trump's agenda at work. That's what we voted for. That is getting the illegal aliens off the streets. All of it very, very, very impressive. Now, if you want to make money in the market, I'm going to tell you right now, you need to go to VRAinsider.com. VRAinsider.com. Vertical Research Advisory. They run a newsletter. Right now, they'll give you a 2-week trial. You'll get to see their 10 baggers, which 10 stocks that I now personally own because I'm following this to a T, and I'm already up in the month of January. VRAinsider.com. That's VRAinsider.com. 35% returns in 2025. 50% returns in 2024. This is what you'll get. I want you to go there, work this free trial, sign up. VRAinsider.com. That's VRAinsider.com. You'll get to see Kip Herriage right here on this podcast on Fridays. We do a market wrap podcast. We'll do that with Kip on Fridays. Kip Herriage, VRAinsider.com. Go there, and you'll see how simple this is. It's not a day trading strategy. This is a strategy to build your portfolio, and you make some small tweaks here or there as they see fit, but just follow them, and you should be good to go. Now, all trading involves risks and all that stuff. You know, the FTC wants me to tell you, but I can tell you this, 35% last year, 50% the year before. That's pretty damn good. VRAinsider.com. That's VRAinsider.com. Excuse me. So I do know it's mountain cedar allergies, and I forgot to take my allergy medication this morning. I was getting better, but now I'm still feeling it just a little bit. Some of the battles going on in Congress. Obamacare. You want to hear a shocking stat? Kat Kamek, the congresswoman from Florida, revealed something very interesting about Obamacare and why we need to scuttle the entire system. Very few Americans are even using it.
Hey guys, Congresswoman Kat Kamek here. I am just off the House floor, and you can probably hear in the background Chairman of the Ways and Means Committee, Jason Smith, railing right now because the Democrats have forced a discharge petition to the floor that would extend 3 years worth of Obamacare subsidies. Now, here's what you need to know, and you can probably see right here behind me on this TV, and then right behind me, that door leads to the House floor where this fight is happening right now. Here's what you need to know. Only 7% of Americans are on the Obamacare programs that receive subsidies. Now, of those 7%, there's 40% of people registered that are actually fraudulent. Like fraudulent as in they're duplicative, they are not supposed to be in the program. In fact, they're finding that people making over $600,000 are receiving subsidies for their ACA, their AKA Obamacare plans. Now, here's the real rub. These subsidies don't go to individuals directly. They go to big insurance companies. Insurance companies like, well, we all know their names, but let's be honest. These are companies that are making 237% profits as of last year. So why in the world would we send $400 billion to an insurance company to lower premiums for people making $600,000? It makes no sense. We need to fix healthcare, not throw money at a one-size-fits-all program that's only addressing 7% of the population. We should have a program that addresses 100% of all of the needs of Americans here today. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to lower premiums. We're going to increase care. We're going to actually have health care, not sick care, and focus on prevention, not maintenance. That is how we do this, not by subsidizing wealthy CEOs and insurance companies that are already making an insane amount of money and making the programs non-functional. Denials are up, care is down. It's time for us to fix this. So stay tuned for more, but this is a fight that we are going to have to the very, very bitter end.
Well, I'm glad somebody's fighting it. She's a good congresswoman, too. I like her a lot. This Obamacare is a disaster. It has been from the very start. We've had opportunities where we could overturn it. Republicans didn't have the stones to do it. They're so afraid of making any move. We got to let free markets take back over health care. Government controls far too much of it. That's all part of the Obamacare scheme, is giving government total control over this. And, of course, when government has control, prices just skyrocket. So, again, only 7% of Americans actually on Obamacare, and it's costing us a fortune. It makes no sense. President Trump has a great idea to put money back in the pockets of American citizens. I would like to come up with a system where we literally just get government out of the way of health care. Just let it get out of the way. Before Obamacare came on the scene, my insurance through my company was fabulous. And then insurance through companies went south after Obamacare. I'd love to be able to get that back. All right. Did anybody, I hope you tell me no, but did anybody watch the Grammys last night? Why do they get away from music? Why can't these singers just talk about music and not politics? I'm not going to play you a ton of the craziness because I just don't want to hear from them. But I'm going to give you a taste, and then I'm going to prove to you that there is still a little hope out there.
No one is illegal on stolen land.
Look at these ding-dongs. Oh, yeah, you really have my credibility. Look. I don't, here's the thing. I can't even tell you who these people are because I just don't have it in me. But watch this. Am I supposed to really believe that people clapping that are wearing an outfit like that have any credibility with me? You look like a goose that a fox just had gotten to and had eaten alive. I mean, this is what I mean. Like, keep protesting, F ICE. I think Billie Eilish, is that who that is? I don't even know. I just like my country music. And even that, struggling. You're getting the liberals going into country music now, too. I don't understand what's happening there. But not Jelly Roll. This guy, he lost a lot of weight. I applaud him. I don't know whether he used Energized Health or not. Maybe. But at least he restored some form of humanity back to the Grammys as everybody's going after Trump and ICE and all this craziness. Look at that. Right, Reba? Amen, Jelly Roll. Sadly, the Democrats totally shun Jesus. They hate the idea of God. Not most of us on the right. Most of us on the right completely embrace the idea of Jesus, at the very least, a higher power. My God is Jesus, of course. But those on the left, they don't want any belief in a higher power at all. You mention God to them, whoo, boy. They want you beholden to Barack Obama and the Clintons and Schumer and Nancy Pelosi. They don't want you beholden to Jesus Christ. So Jelly Roll did a good job. I don't really know where Jelly Roll stands in his religion. Quite frankly, I don't even care. I don't even care about these other artists. I just wish that they wouldn't bring this to the stage. Like, why don't you talk about your music and thank who was instrumental in your life? You don't need to say F ICE and all that nonsense. All right. With that, folks, that's going to do it for us today. I will remind you about my new course that I got out, the mavericksystem.com. Great for anybody that wants to learn to be an alpha in a respectful way, but take control of your life where you're not getting trampled on. Learn how to get the respect that you deserve. This is what the Maverick System is all about. It's priced very cheaply. All I'm looking for right now are testimonials. Go on offense, start winning. The Maverick System will put you in the right mindset. It will have a total reframe of the brain. And it's pretty cool, and I'm proud of it. The mavericksystem.com, the mavericksystem.com. Check that out and then let me know what you think, please. That would be the best. All right, with that, thank you very much to everybody watching today. We appreciate you, Shelly, our captain in the chat. Thank you. And God bless all of you. We'll see you on the Real America's Voice show. Stinchfield's Army rolls because of all of you. It's why we roll. And again, 7 p.m. Eastern time on Real America's Voice. Thanks for watching, everybody.